we are obviously concerned by the continuing escalation of violence in Ukraine, which to me very much appears to be clearly what I would call a slow motion invasion on the part of the Putin regime.
Und ich selber war vor 4 Jahren in Moskau zu diesem 9. Mai, weil mir das auch ein Anliegen war, deutlich zu machen, dass wir die Geschichte verstanden haben und dass es keine Wiederholung gibt. Und deshalb kann ich ganz einfach nur sagen, ich finde es schade, wenn ein solcher Tag genutzt wird, um in einem solchen Spannungsfeld eine abzuhalten.
Ah, German's such an attractive language. But Germany has today formally advised its citizens to leave Ukraine because it believes a state of war is about to occur. In other words, the German Foreign Department, one of the best and most informed in the world, is convinced that tensions are now so high and that so many soldiers and militia have entered the country or are massed on its borders that full-scale armed conflict is imminent, inevitable. If Germany has done that, other countries are sure to follow. So, is Russia a military nation, a threatening nation? Well, watch this.
Здравствуйте, товарищи! Поздравляю вас с 68-й годовщиной Победы в Великой...
Yeah, that's the Moscow Pride Parade. No, nor is it 1945 or the Soviets in 1975. That's last year. Now, I'm going to try and step back from all this and not be overly emotional. It doesn't do anybody, list of all the people of Ukraine, any good at all. Okay, let's be as pro-Russian as we can and accept that parts of Ukraine, including Crimea, maybe feel more Russian than Ukrainian. Okay, perhaps. For argument, let's accept that. But even if it's true, were they being persecuted or mistreated by Kiev? Were they denied their rights as Russians? Was life a living hell? Be serious. Russian speakers in eastern Ukraine and Crimea have as much, if not more, independence and autonomy than, for example, French speakers in Quebec. So there is no, and I mean no, reason for any of these people to demand separation, and certainly no justification for any of them to use violence or call on Russia to come to their aid, to occupy towns and buildings, to kill people, to threaten, to invade. How would you feel? How would you feel, say, if the United States sent the National Guard, along with some Navy SEALs, to occupy, I don't know, Windsor, Ontario? And when we resisted, they then decided to send in an entire division, men, tanks, aircraft. But, you know, in a way, it's not even about Ukraine, as bad as that situation is. It's about what happens next. If we do allow Ukraine to lose half or more of its land and freedom, do you seriously believe that it will end there? See, bullies, they don't say, oh, thank you very much, we're entirely satisfied, happy, we'll all be friends, let's go home. No, they ask for more. No, actually, I misspoke. They don't ask for more, they demand more. The Central Asian republics that were part of the Soviet Union, they're terrified of Russian conquest. Moldova, extremely concerned. Georgia assumes further Russian expansion. Belarus, an ally, but they're not naive. They think the same. Do you remember what happened in Georgia?
They moved into Gori, encircling the city with tanks and unloading troops at strategic areas inside the heart of Georgia. Their intentions aren't clear, but this is an absolute violation of the ceasefire agreed with Georgia. Columns of tanks and trucks loaded with soldiers control all access in and out of the city. Some cars with fleeing civilians on board were allowed to pass.
And then there are those countries that were part of the Russian Empire, if not part of Russia itself. Poland, of course, parts of Hungary, even Slovakia, they're all very concerned. Look, if you doubt me, read Pan-Slavic and Russian nationalist literature, understand the culture of the Russophile mentality. It's nothing new. It goes back hundreds of years. I am not comparing Putin to Hitler. That is absurd. I am not calling the Russians Nazis. That's offensive and insulting. I'm not saying the Russians are evil, because they're not. They're just Russian. They believe in strong leadership, the greater Russia, the eternal conflict with the West, the need to spread Russian ideas and ideology and culture and purpose to the greater world. I'll be honest, I love Russia. Its people, especially its literature, its religiosity, its history. But I love freedom and self-determination more. And I know from my gut and my heart that Ukraine is right now the center of the world. And we have to take notice. In the name of God, we have to take notice.